西不就就吉美多张吉拉比西吉格吉巴吉萨多伊特布瓦伊卓库南达西那丘巴人苏伊达古鲁热那门达拉内亚达亚米。圣天南极上巴那罗伊杰嘎吉达瓦杰全尊蒙提格伊觉伊库鲁库图西。我们去给就是上级规定我你让什么去跟我说的，那为了没晓得不晓得工具都不跑了，今天咯，到时候这边咯，那去了就说那么就那么可能你没什么就特别多了，那没不，那么多定义就话养到不特别上级给国防的目前没人管，有人印度今年讲他不能讲你被三百讲就投，给不当记得三兆。现在去给人把你打卡上给吹的呢啊空给的呢，그래 라마 망고 jar的呢，去跟着拉玛跟着接，去跟着去吧地个，那些别给错了。
Before we start the teaching, let us give rise to the motivation of bodhicitta. And yesterday we reached to the part where Lama Naljorpa was talking about which masters he met and which places he meditated.
这呢，他讲大路不是，讲大路了人心灵的，他当然做不灵些的，真心破障些，你的人心灵的原来的。人心灵的你拉些，你给的原来是能拉，明了我们，真心破障些，他龙巴的米的是我们是拉皮个嘛的，我们能是拉的。인주대 오면 되어지면 포랑이 있어요. 제시와지면 포랑이 양변스나 뒤야 저는 양 까마시니 추추체 담지 다 대신 포랑이야. 알람 까마 송조다 고마게 없는 세만 나나 그래. 이민의 풀벌링세 삽차다 폭바당 삽체기 입자고 폭바당 진지 유인사리 디나나 디니 라마코나 휴야기 된자 된 사들라 쉬야기 된케 디니 최체 두치 최체 제디 로마 데니 파르체 포모 라시코시 제니 파르체 미장 두출리 민영어 딱으로 속유 딱만 속은 난서야 돼 남르바 두출리 민영어 좀제 정상의 롱 나송와 라소스 다디니 디 남자 제빙이 뭐 디니 롱아 자 차사 포벌리는 착답 휴 로마라 최낭 데리지네 롱아 기 나로라 디 남타 티티고.
So now talking about his residence in eastern Bhutan. The name of the area, that village is called Rinchen. And within Rinchen there is this sacred site called Dechen Podrong. Then if you walk 30 minutes from Dechen Podrong, you will reach to a place called Purbaling. Purba is meaning Kilaya in English. So this place looks like a Kilaya, shape of a Kilaya. That's why it's called Purbaling. So this is where Lama Naljorpa settled. And he settled there and he practiced in this place. And he also gathered his disciples in that place. They all lived together. So in total, at all times, in total, there would be around at least 60 men and women under Lama Naljorpa practicing every day. So when Lama Naljorpa wrote this autobiography, it has been 5 years since he settled in Purbaling. From 60 of those disciples, one was me.
대신 포랑이 샤비에 포스. 대신 포랑이 양 그런 얘기 나로라 양 샤비에 포스 포거지요. 어디 포번나라 잠베 라둑 지난 말에서 잠베한 라둑 루비값수
in this place, Dichen Podrang, below Dichen Podrang, there is a cave. So in that cave, he practiced, he did the guru practice of Manjushri.
Dini laduk drupdik be kapsu, dini laduk ki drupa nyamne tang shimbe nanglo la yang nubjik la kong nilam kandi siksong se na jagar ki chaje. Di jagar ki meri imba nangshin. Rik jagar ki chaje se na supu kolak byontang da jagar imba. Dini kandoma karma. Dini shaje zo. Karpo yoba, tung roba, tung nangshin, karjang yoba. Dini gui yang karpo, da jagar karpo gindwa, chugindwa, karpo karjang chödeba. Lablup tu lupasin, dini da karpo ki labal chöpetabu gyandoba chi. Dendegi bomochi ki shanga, lama konangi chachama chini, tenyaki, minam nangla tenyaki, dini reso onse.
While practicing this Laduk of Manjushri, Guru practice of Manjushri, one day he had a dream, and in his dream, he saw a lady that appeared to be an Indian. She had this face shape and structure of an Indian looking. Then she wore a very white long dress with fringes, and her skin was also very white, like as white as a conch. So Lama Naljorpa had the opportunity to rely on her as his spiritual consort for 5 days.
긴 딜라 띠니 되니 라마 코는기 투주기 똑바디 되와 zuki dewa bar. Teni dewe ngo te tongpagi, teni nyamlen, lepje ne dedong kebarchen, ta ngar, teni tokpa teni kema nyongwa dedongi nyam kebarchen ki nangla, shangma kashi nangla yarma songse, shangma kashi nangla sem dechome, lui dechome yoba sem tongchali, yoba ki dedongi nyamdi, shakashi mayeba de songse. 다디 미마인기 진 자자마 세야디 사모지 속에 자자마 돼야디 에 마스비기 진압지 누가 똑바디 계속 누가 거지기 그 마일 버 중화되니 수레의 삶 시마 그런 게 딱지 제디 사모 양정 한번 연바디 권한 하고 성스 양정 한번 시작하시지 그런 자자마 제야기 고합다 라도가
After this practice, after relying on this non-human sort of dakini, his meditative experience and realization further increased, and his body felt so comfortable. His mind was bliss, and he was able to remain in this state of bliss and emptiness for quite some time. This feeling of bliss and emptiness did not disappear for some time. His mind, like he had this feeling of emptiness in unity with bliss. So this seems to be one great quality of relying on a non-human dakinis. So later on, Lama Naljorpa came to realize that goddess must be Saraswati.
양 무튜니 잠뱅기 냠바 낭체 쇼비캅라 양 눕지 김미람 다 천적시 김미람 라디니 홍게 나와나라 샤르 까토 도르지덴 세 삽셔질라 랩소시 오늘 저튼 남자 뒤니 남자 잠지 마해 뭐망 남자가 송사 되니 샤르 까토 도르지덴 뒤니 랩지디니 다 되나를 뒤어 말에 띵 얘기 얘네 마시베게 자상 첨보 공바 첨보 차딱딱딱딱딱 딱 제바티니 공바 첨부 페나 다다 남도 디기 공바도가 대가 남진 코랑 리 차상 디 강도바 공바지 디 낭로라 드바 디니 세르요리 지니 마 샨답 셰바 최규 남숨 셰바 디니기 드바 랑 메바 지 메바 요바 삽체치라 코랑기 랩송스
Then around the same time, when he was in the cave practicing Manjushri, he had another dream. In that dream, he reached to Dojiden or Bodhgaya.
까톡
So-
도르지된
Katok Dojiden.
샤르 까톡 도르지된 근데 송이도 데라 컨디티오나 마시 다 샤르 세네트면 도가 샤르 까톡도 나마 라마비 데레스마 쟁이도 쟁아 빼참 나라 연하면은 통도 다다다도
So it doesn't seem to be exactly the Bodhgaya we know in India, but it seems to be another Dojiden or another Bodhgaya in the east called Kathok Dojiden. So here in his autobiography, Lama Naljorpa did not write in detail, but this is what I heard from him directly. So he said in his dream he saw a huge monastery on a mountain, and then it was not only one, but there were several houses, big monasteries. So we see one monastery here right next to our place, which is very beautiful and big. So he saw many of such monasteries filling the mountain, and within these monasteries were uncountable monks, sanghas.
다 딘딘디기 디니스 다 라다 망보지기 낭로라 디니 양 룹톱 그 두가 톱상바 디니 난도 수보지는 지중 추강을 면도생도 미 추강 제바지 디니 낙바 디니 코 두가 톱상바기 낙상 고나 디니 말가랑 아니 둥 만도 많이 둥 디니 진이 라코르치 두가 라코르낭라 둥 요래 둥 푹푹 샤베기 둥게 창와 까르니네 진이 수복강가 튀니 딱샤바지기 차라 많이지 라코르치 남제네 제니코 디기 좁토기 민라 좁토 많이 린치식 딱 코는 게 되는데 고긴도와 코는 게 캥이도와 되는데 임바 밀람낭라 되는데 임바 차상 코로나라 용도와 또 밀람낭라 되는데 통제네 되니 케이크 많이 빼양 kurshigirebe de lamanenjo bala somdos lamanenjo be samlonang ati tutuk tenda mosachi 많이 빼양 니 donata don 시에서 레사 코랑기 돈 투비기 나와지 정도가 있나요 디린 케 제베 갑라 나 동이 매 취기 동로제 어때니 파 쉬버레스 또 많이 린잖아
Then amongst these thousands and thousands of monks, he saw one master whose height is only 1 foot from like elbow until the tip of the finger. So he was a short 1 foot Siddha, and he was wearing a mala made out of conch, and then he was carrying a money in his hand. Then Lama Naljorpa, without asking anybody, like he intuitively knew that this master's name is Mani Rinchen, Drupön Mani Rinchen. So then that Siddha, Drupön Mani Rinchen, asked Lama Naljorpa, do you know how to sing Mani Pelyam? Do you know the tune of Mani Pelyam? Then Lama Naljorpa thought to himself, well, of course I do know how to sing Mani Pelyam. Again, this is a intuitive feeling. He knew, like somehow he knew that if he sing, like he would know how to sing Mani Pelyam. But still he did not say that. Instead he said, well, why don't you sing it for me? He said that to Drupal Manirinchen.
Ini 잔다디 최기 전나 된쇼 디면은 니 단가 시기 별로 주래. 디니 라마게 투지 시 드린 휴당 자르와지 까르바상보레. 이 돈시에나 돈님이 표랑이 돈오지시 휴용디 디니 공기 제 남할라 식당지 전에 많이 라발라 많이 코로로로로로로 코네제 넘가 인라 signi디니 많이 빼양서 당은 뭐이 태용디 디니 라마 나ljorpa 코랑데 kuzukan가 다틱쇼네 디니 코 진압되기 수부간가 다 바부간가 싱 미쇼간가 마 미쇼 많이 샤라라 용도 디니 mik박이 낭 강삼진에 디니 코랑게 디니 니남게 낭와디 잉라 녹소스 강강 삼코 개바체닥지 대매 동화 최닥 최니 되니 코랑게 나와 강가 각지니 체디기 나와 탐지 답지가 각지니 되니 미추샤를 턴내지니 코 가래 밀람 장마지 밀람디 코 균진나라 코랑 밀람 매버지니 균진나라 팀송세 되리 데메 somebody 뭐만가서 800개시나 데메 더블도 사는데 대바 체닥지니 이내 최기 졸라지는데 균진나라 팀송세 되니 코 파라 공부 인라 팀장네 되니 코 밀람 매버차
Sorry, there was one clarification. So Tugang is not 1 foot, but 1 cubit.
대점지래 왕선 미 대점 미 수고 대점지라 카나 미 차상 상계래왜 당이람 니람라고 봐
So it's like it's a person from a dream. I mean, in real, like, did you see anybody with this height, with all the features, complete? I'm now saying that, yeah, there are these doors. So, anyways,
뭐 설치고야지 이 최고야지 할래고 같이 차상래도 와
so this such kind of dreams is very amazing and also shocking. So, anyways, continuing. Then Lama Naljorpa told this 1 cubit tall Siddha, saying that, well, I mean, I'm very fortunate to see you here, and I would love if you could sing this Manipelyam to me. Then that 1 cubit Siddha, he looked his eyes up in the sky, up in the space, and then he was rotating his money in his hand. And then he started singing Manipelyam, with a very gentle, long, melodious tune. Then Lama Naljorpa, while hearing this Manipelyam, his body started to shake. He started to have goosebumps, and the tears started to roll down from his eyes. And this was due to huge blessing from this Manipelyam and from that 1 cubit tall Siddha. And he has such a kind of experience, and his this worldly perception also disappeared for some time. He was really into that feeling. And then after some time, his dream dissolved into all conscious. Yes. So his dream dissolved into all ground consciousness, and he fainted for a while.
이네 라마 코나 젠면나로 조사래봐 젠밭 걸리 진에 세디 용지 따디 되니 수포 단미 달사둑세 양콩 이 세도와 딱거 니티 세 용나양 수포디 달달달 제니 mikchu디 샤라가 장네 니 차상 mikchu기 방도 수모
Then he woke up from his dream, and also he gained back his consciousness both, and when he gained back his consciousness, he could still feel his body shaking, and his pillow was wet with tears.
yeah. Dini konaya shingni ta milam re. Tangala dini ngosa chimbo jungsong ta dini chik kongi tukto mani rinjingi ta mani kamsumla dangchi sagre. Mani chiki dang sagi mare, nigi sagi mare, mani kamsum ma dangyang nangla suk jodi dini dang chatang sarungduwa. Di korangge dini 다 좀더 많이 린지 낭니 당디 코랑게 낭나 다 시사리 삼삼 찍기 야 생네 많이 지낭도 되니 좀더 많이 린지 많이 딱딱 코랑 셈낭라 당 차상 독식 양양디 태야디 이 코랑 디니 제마 납 디디 페이지링 바냠도레 삼삼라마살라 용삼삼 페이지링 버털 도치지 라메기 나라 니람데 텐데 중송 송도와 나라 송송 송도 내게 다 텐데 이나라마 디니 많이 당디 수익이 요소디 당은 저때 아니 속에 팔체 동기요 나랑 딱봐 동기요 디니 남 뎀바디 많이 당디 남 템바지 고 수고다야 레병도시 그럼 당 이남 남기 당디 코랑 탱이도와 낭도와 낭도양 이남 낭라 다라 낭지 전에 수고 다르와 팔와 디니 셈랑 이중 게네 미초자 팔류 바부 생와 전에 용도 없음도
This Mani Peyang, Mani Peyang. So Mani is of course the six syllable Mani mantra, and Peyang is the name of the tune. So this tune would end when you would recite the mantra 3 times. So that's how long the tune is. And then that time I was with Drupön Lingpa when Lama Naljorpa had such kind of dreams. Later, when I met Lama Naljorpa, he shared me this dream. Then I asked him, who knows this tune? Did you teach anybody? Then Lama Naljorpa said, yeah, I taught this tune to my anis. So some of the anis knows how to sing, and I myself also know how to sing. So after he arose from the dream, it seems like the tune really was stuck in his mind. Then he also shared that whenever he hears his anis singing the tune, and whenever he sings it himself, his body, like he cannot stop shaking his body. And this kind of great feeling of renunciation arises in him all the time when he hears that tune. So Dr. is saying Lama Naljorpa did teach how to sing, but unfortunately many of the anis already forgot the tune, and she also knew how to, but now her memory is also vague. Last time she went through a book written by Lama Naljorpa himself, and there Lama Naljorpa like roughly noted down the tunes. I don't know how he did it, but there was a note on the tune, and Drupala tried to sing it, but she could only sing it the starting part of the tune, and then the rest like she could not figure out.
되니 공다 딱벌 아니 됐어 당 감진 차등 처네 되니 꽤난 그래 코는 튠디 다tak고 송근데 꽤 뒤집고 책이 말해 꽤 계도 땅나 칸로 계장난 그래 되네 양멜람 롱전에서 참이기 꽤 저라고 예난 그래 삼삼라 꾸살라 속상난 그래 삼삼라 다다 가상 저랑 손난 게 이제 고성봉도 꽤난 그래 저기 제일라 지금 많이 택마 딱 남기도 게 차이 숨지 잡선 그런 게 많이 나와 망체 빼지는 만냠도 되게 봐가 삼삼 용지 Deni der Rinpoche di mani dang ka jire do jire se di deni di ka ba song song nga ni lam nang la ni da nang re se mani di da nang gi mani sire se marang da nang ni nang la deni drupön mani rin ji jar ne khong gi yenlap dang sung de song marang sem la jar de ne dang ni to khong gi dang di ni da sem la ja yo ba ti gi marang di tak pa tyong gi yo song 아니 야 나 봐 주시
So Lama Naljorpa would Lama Naljorpa and his students would end their evening session with this mani payang. So their evening session used to be cheer practices. So sometimes they would do Kandugijang cheer, laughter of the Dakini. Sometimes they would do Milamlung cheer. Sometimes they would do Kusala cheer, and sometimes Kusumgong cheer, the one we are doing every day these days. So after cheer session, then they would chant this Mani Payang for 2 or 3 times. So sometimes that time I was with Peggy Lingpa, but once in a while I would come to Purpaling and to see Lama Naljorpa, and that time I witnessed them singing this Mani Payang after the cheer sessions. So that was the time I asked Lama Naljorpa about this Mani Payang, and he said this is the one he saw in his pure vision, where this is this Mani Payang he saw in pure vision from top Mani region.
되니 다 제망이 제 라마냠도 메방가랑 삼나주지 ngozo lama ngawang도지 다 공 라마게 로마 드라효지랑데 공기 캥기도 공당이도 되는 공양도 잘 하셔야 된 되는 나는 셈라디니 당디 되니 롭종 제야지 고가 가마서 양 참참을 빼질린 방향도 전에 이게 되고 운도 다고 때셔지도 파보 운도 대송삼 Dini ngay samla na tangi ya, tati lama ki tanang sina pe chinap chambore, tati lama ki tanang mani chi tok, mani tila tenbe, dini kyamro chi tang, semke chi tang, ngondo chi tang, gyungo malam chatang yoba chi, tongdong chi choki dini ma trirok chi ese, songrok chi ese, loma mangpo yoba songsam, jema loma de choki tongla, goba yongkare samne, yang katong jena chiki mendo, dini ngarang lani dini ko jabde nangjingre kaya yuwa mare. Ine chingana tikta na ngarang gomo chu du. Shokor, drupā ki shokor. Gomo chu di ya len, dini kadar chi ki jene lama la shakchi pyu, dini pyu jene, da lama ki di mani dangdi kharang ki dangnang re du si, jenab shenpo re si. Di da yu shenpo re, di la tenbe ngondok chi songro che esi. Dini ngi shu shakpa re. Dawa kashi jene ngondok chik kong di shakdu, dada denang la jia di mendo, farang lo ju tam ju mato, ju du mato, di namdar kashi nang li yuwa re. Konangi kyamro sholo kachi, semke sholo kachi, ruto mani rinchingi, ngondok sena lak komya, korang komya. Dini yugla ngowa da molam dashi jene, tongtong jine korang tab debo song shakdu. Da dengsang nga lakbaya di pecha rama song yang. Da Dini mani tangdi lo chingi chi lama ngawangdo chi nangdo, lama korang da nganzo nyamdo takbar deya meba, nganzo ri la ya deya shakari. Lama ma tine la shukari, tsokpa mang nyamdo. Desong sam, da tengsang mani ti ngarangi nani hining te chu jebayi, da halam yang takpa chi sheki mendo, ngarangi sheki mendo. Dini lama korang nyamdo shukari, korang yang tini bedor je mendo, da mani tangyang di laso. Ina yang jik je na loma tindi yang jik ni yogire teso yang na shigire teso nga rewa chakyo.
Buk nang la tang tenzo ya
Wala mi tu de.
ya ma to ya ma te ga tu ini nen sen tanan kago sare ma hasa ga ni te ta ni ya kuna ba bi de
Ti mani ki tang la peyang sigire. Peyang.
Ringi super mani ki yang
Mare.
noriputla lama ki
Me ngarang la mento yona di nge tang chokre. Tang di dere si nge tue chokre ba. Titi nga mang chea de lama pejiling bayam do togo ba. Lama Jariaki Dondala Mato, not during your something than a page than Bayam to Togri, Karis and Yigitiku, Teshu, take Lama Yam to take Koran Tore. Koran took it in young Semla Shah in Samari, Lama Shakti Taya Tini, Meva Shachini. The Pachi Tang Yang Dapachi Shigmento.
가바이나 찍다 여기를 라마게 로마 망고 요래 샤쳐나 데니 덴주 나가 여기를 로방가 좀 나가 여기를 해 되는
So Lama Naljorpa and his students will used to live in Purpaling, and then above Purpaling there used to be mountain. There is mountains with retreat huts. So Lama Karma and some of the retreatants would go up in the mountain and practice there in retreat. And sometimes they would come down to visit Lama Naljorpa. So Lama Karma like did not stay 24 hours with Lama Naljorpa, like he was staying back and forth. And he was also staying with Begalingpa as a main scribe. So anyways, there is another retreatant called Champangawang, one of the closest one of the closest student of Lama Naljorpa. So Lama Karma saw Champangawang sometimes chanting and singing that Mani Peyam. And then Lama Karma felt that this is a precious teaching. Since Lama Naljorpa saw it in his pure vision, this is very sacred and precious, and it would help students like him and many other students in the future. So he thought of, so he made a decision to request Lama Naljorpa to make a preliminary and then also a concluding section for this Mani Peyam. So like preliminary section would include a refuge, bodhicitta, then visualization of that Drupön Rinpoche, that Mani Rinpoche himself, and then the main part would be Mani Peyam. Then concluding section would be dedication prayer. So Lama Karma said that he went to Lama Naljorpa with a khatar, and then since he didn't own anything, he didn't have much to offer, but he had one note of 10 miltrum. So 10 miltrum is the Bhutanese currency. So during those days, even 10 miltrum has great value. So he took that note and offered to Lama Naljorpa and requested him to compose a preliminary and a concluding section. So these things are not mentioned here in the autobiography, but Lama Naljorpa did agree to my request, and he did compose a refuge, bodhicitta, visualization, main section, and a concluding part. But unfortunately, that text is lost. And not only that text, the tune of Mani Peyam also seems to be lost now. I myself was staying with Begalingpa during those days, and I didn't have this opportunity to learn Mani Peyam thoroughly. So it's not there in my memory anymore. But Lama Naljorpa did teach this to his students, including Anit Dorkala and many other Anis, but now they also forgot this Mani Peyam. Then Dorkala was sharing that in the book that we have at home, Lama Naljorpa roughly kind of made like a graph of the tune. So when the pitch goes up, he drew a line up like this, and when it goes down, he drew. So there's like a graph there, but she also could not kind of figure out it completely how to sing it. And then there were some other nuns in Eastern Bhutan, and we checked with them, and they also don't remember it. But she's saying there are still many other students in East Bhutan who are hiding somewhere in the jungle, in the mountain. So maybe one or two of them might know. There's somebody called Lopon Karchung. Most probably he might know the tune.
다 되니 라마 코는 딱 봐라 나 죽긴 게 상담마 세지 요래 상담마 세야지 많이 양당 뒤바 구숨 리처 군착 딩이 디다 라마 코는 게 다낭다 말에 이내 코는 게다 고투담 잡으지 낭 요래 대인은 남다 코는 게 시기래 다 뭐란 게 시기래 다다디 수에 제면도 샤담이 낭도
There's another money melody, money tune called Mani Sangdharma. Of course, that's not a pure vision that Lama Naljorpa saw, but he received it from somebody. So I'm pretty sure Torkola and other students living today knows this tune.
다지니 디 술을 따로 오세 술도 지니 요래 마도 된당을 팀민도 대도 나랑 기지니 아마 냠용 요바 송삼 디 차탕 랍샤 바래 휴샤 바래 디니 나고래
So this section on Mani Peyang is just briefly written here in autobiography by Lama Naljorpa, and then he mentioned towards the end that I have written the detailed sections elsewhere. So it's not written here in detail, but whatever I have shared, it's based on the oral accounts.
디니 양치기 뒤롱 두트 난솔로 숨져서래 데르 뭐치들라 휴르바 라마 온 디 공디니 베질링 베 진세지도 진세 데르 흉레도 다니 디 진세디 도농 지니 공파 휴사야 도트낭라제 도트낭라디니 디니 진세기 제제제제 룩 메라 도바 땅체네 양 도바 캡테라 휴샤도 디니 디 갑라양 채몬 니남니 좋아지 양 ngakchang druptop yimbachi gwekar changlosi gola chang dini cha changlo yoba gwe rekar gyondoba dini takbar kono nangla nginam thongbachi de yongdo si takbar kono nginam masegi bardo dinyamdo degindo si te dibridwa duro su pejalingbe sater kusum gongdu ki jinsigi choga tengdangbo shakshi donse shakhashi di kangla ngakchang druptop gokar changlo chi takbar drayameba nginam nangla yongdo si 디니 치수 디니 코낭기다 디 베질링 바슈두가 치수 베질링 바슈두 디 눕신 상지 이시레 송송 코나라 디니 낭창 룹톱디 수야 말이 눕친레 다 저랑 눕친기 딘 뚜구디 베질링 바리도와 베질링 바 최다된 라마네 바리도와 디스 코나 드와 요바 송삼 디 코낭게 딘디 임바치 이체 송송
Then continuing, Lama Naljorpa also practiced the jinsek or fire offering puja when he was staying at the charnel ground. So
Вишенской земле.
This fire offering puja, this text he got it from Drupön Lama. So this text is a treasure revealed as an earth treasure, and Lama Naljorpa would use this text while he's doing fire offering. So while reciting the sadhana, he would the fire and put substances, and again make fire, and again put more substances. So that's how this fire offering is done. Then after he started this fire offering practice, then in his dreams, sometimes in his meditative experiences, he would see a figure accompanying him all the time. That figure was like a elderly looking man wearing a white robe, and he has long gray hair. So yeah, that figure would accompany him all the time, and then like when he wakes up, that person would be gone. So later he recounted this with Tenpege Lingpa, and Tenpege Lingpa said that figure must be Lobchen Sangye Yeshe, one of the 25 disciples of Guru Padmasambhava. So Pege Lingpa himself is an emanation of Lobchen Sangye Yeshe, and Lama Naljorpa is the prophesized custodian of Pege Lingpa. So all of them are interrelated. So that is why it seems Lama Naljorpa was having visions of Lobchen Sangye Yeshe.
양 디니 다와 카시세 고란다다 샹마 카시스나 대점 세 송요 말에 양 뉴지 기스네 니마 카시 다와지 짬지기 제라 인사래 디니 코랑게 자웰라마 또된 소남 초링 싱비티기 샤르시피 잉이남지 중송세 디디 술서서 아마도 대나로 트리멘도 남다나로 트리멘도 디가 송양가 전바 제상네 차상 쟁이면도 코나지 또된 샤르시그네디 코나 또된 라다니 아니 대바 이체 녜네 소라답 송르 중 디니 또된기 니남세 용도 양코나 고르치 송자요 고르테 고르기 식제소 데라티메도 남달 현당 나와요 남달 니 숨지요 코나기 디니 디디 소사레두스 양이 세버티 랍토마송스.
Then there was another occasion where Lama Naljorpa saw his teacher Togten Sonam Cholek in his dream, and in his dream he had an intuitive feeling that Togten Sonam Cholek was going to pass in parinirvana. He writes or he shares with me with Lama that when he saw Togten Sonam Cholek, he had like intense faith and devotion towards him, and they had a little bit of conversation, and then Togten Sonam Cholek gave him or taught him a spiritual song. So this it's not extensively written here in this biography, but again he mentions that it is extensively written elsewhere meaning in other few autobiographies that he wrote. And he also shared this incident with me in detail, but now I have a very vague memory of it.
되니 양 이제 라마 나ljorpa rinpoche 남자한테 고림요 말이 코난기 밍들라 샤몽기 소치엔스 리자파디 고림메비 따래 코난기 되니 디디 샤라라 나스 셈라 강 토라 코난 강 템바디 샤라라 송자바리 마도 양 자갈 송도와 자갈 소페메 리고 인사래 충친 빼만 인도 소페메 리고라 좀 곰잡주도 다와 숨게 링라 미제 요 말스 미칼락 다 저게 요 말시라 미제 링라 미지기 디마 파르체르 메파스 사주에서나 만도 자 제주 말레베게 자 소아 이밍이 이제 미미시 디 코나 델라테니 디니 까와지 까첩제니 사용데 다와숨르도 소보 차상 깽르 차송시 딱고 나 낙자네 매와 차네 로옥상도 차네 미팅을 롱제니 어때네 인사래 다 류깽르다 줄제 시라케 좀 시로 제송세 다 전리 까와제도와
Then he shares another incident when he was in Topema at India, in a place called Pema Nyingzong at Topema in India.
리고도
Oh,
소페메리고
on a tip of a mountain in Topema. So his autobiography has not a clear chronological order. So as the name of his autobiography says, carefree Chris of mushroom, which means that he just wrote down whatever came to his mind. It's not organized or arranged clearly in a chronological order. So in any case, on another occasion at Topema, he was practicing there, and it was very hard to find food and to get food. So he was relying on nettles, like this nettle that Lord Milarepa used to eat. So he was relying on nettles for about 3 months, and after that, after 3 months, like he almost died. He became very skinny. All his flesh were gone, and only bones remained. His eyes were deep in socket. So he nearly died, and that's how he went through hardships.
다 되니 자리 생겨 안도 자갈라 자리스 지워래 자 자디니 퍼바낭 진진이 지워래 ngamongamon 된게래 네팔레 막 된게래 자리기 되니 때때 추 사보낭라 자리로 그지니 이 쌈바기 삽지니 대랑 통 삼삼라 디니 자 퍼바강 통도 양 젤레 마리오 마레 차요 마레 지니요 마레 자자상레 싱글 로마이 되마 자장 어디니 양 수보대 좀 되긴 되었어 된다 되네 양 나와 직삼 찍어 왔죠
Sorry, the neighbors are using a chainsaw. They're cutting down some trees.
자 소바금 거래 사탕 소바금에 뒤에 드리래
Please be patient. It's really noisy outside.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
put it on. Something it's your turn.
아야 되니 냐시 아니 작갑가리 되니 정말 쑥 당보지 쑥야 야 쑥 가래 난또 그쑥디야 청보지니 쑥마수 봐 삼바메레 봐 깔리 조성세 되니 양 삼삼 되니 자툭 삼만도 자툭 생도아 사마기 투바 소기 투바 사마기 투바 사주 되니 수보 나와 되니 딱 잠바 사와지기 티 잠바 메바 제 사주 양 남모 잠바기 휴당 데 카카도네 되니 수보 가래는 또 로호시니 딱 잠바사 레바 남모 있나 된 잠바 메지 되니 사주기 수나라 데 마토 데 로호시니 샤동자 직잠지 되니 파시 수보 차라초로 야라요로 야 샹야 쇼마토 배 깔레레송스 뒤두가 정말 사득 맞춤 바 도구샤라서 샤둔다 지담네 장 리중 발제 세송세 슉 차상 차자래 다 네버지가 메버 차상도 소보기 니도 차상 세서
These are the few times where he really had tough times, where he went through so much of hardship. So he was relying on nettles, and he would make nettle soup and have it due to lack of any other food. So since his body is used to having solid food like zampa, so when he start having nettle soup, it wasn't doing good to his digestion, and it made him sick. He had diarrhea for several days, and he lost all the nutrients needed for the body. Like he did not have enough nutrients, so he could not sit straight to do his practice. He could not even stand up and walk properly, and he became so weak. Then he would make this tea. In Tibetan, we call it jari. They use these tea leaves when they make this Tibetan butter tea. This kind of lump of tea leaves. So they would take a part of it and then boil it in water. So Lama Naljorpa used to boil some of this tea and then just drink that. Like he did not have any butter or milk or sugar or sampa to add in it. So he would simply drink that black tea, and that would ease his pain. That would make him feel a little better.
Yeah.
Chinti.
Oh yeah, yang dango chikdam gi ring di tini sa chue dang chik kur kaling sikiri nganso di ngarang payu ke re kur kaling se di jagar gi lingbir sap chi sikido lingbir zong nganso rugi zonga gi na nake sikiri tini kur kaling se ne ya ko kur te bar chama chi inji na le kande da sikiri
Fern, I think.
Oh.
Fern.
Oh, da.
F-E-R.
De dang chik tini sa dang ni de la cha de tap je ni de sum la de ne dawa chik tam chi na ke se ro ni len sa dang che sum bol la sik ko se che ni tini julen tam chi de ne tini sa ne nyam len che ba yin si di de tini ko kaling dang sa dang sa ni la si di pe ma si shim bo yong du ka re sin da tok che re ba shen shim gi ma re ba tokrang tokna shim gi du ba de yin sa re ba pe ma si shim bo chung se tini de bu che ne dawa ni tam chi kawa che ne kompa yin si
Then he shares that for about a month he was eating wild fern, nettles, and then he would cook wild fern and nettles together with salt. And this would act as a coolant to his body, merely as a coolant to his body. So for us, this does not sound very delicious, but for him, he shares that it was very delicious because he would it's very difficult to get any food, and he was hungry and weak. So this was very tasty for him.
teni dawa ni tam chi ge je la je ring la dawa ni tam ring la yang shamo mushroom yin sa re pa che da mushroom sa ra yin sa le she ra yin sa re ga yang ni de sa ju chung se yang dawa sum zam la jagar gi chu di jagar na la teni chuk so gi chu di chi gi oma 된다 볼 길스 제가 길스 인도 대체 전부 영어 말에 통통제는 중 대강강 이 말에 강강 대송신도 라마를 피송신도 어머 길스 둔 진바 샤dun레 나와레미도 샤마 둔라 아니 어머 길스 둔라도와 나도 어머 기템라 강 상인도 강 낭인도 강 신인도 어디는 샤마 둔쇼 길스 둔 시라송세 진 대송세 주디시기 대당내야 공자바 인세
Then he shares that he then after some time he got chance to have some mushrooms. Then one time one Indian cow herder offered him a glass of milk every day for 7 days, and he happily had one glass of water, one glass of milk each day, and then he continued practicing.
네, 양 다와 시zam기 제라 지니 코랑기 뿐이 다 알라마 코랑기 뿐차기 지니 뿐이시기 지니 하고니 들라지니 촛뱀을 골라 라마치기 제배 마티카와 제니 지니 후도 이 초랑기 미세 인사레세 지니 되게错네 당이 미인사티 딱딱레세 다 민디티 제민도 뿐이시기 소대 대롱지 사죽 진세 데니코 투바치 데도와 딘 투바치 데 사투 마송싱도 제 딱바르 코칼린 사사사 담바 마자와지기 제 담바 탱마 당바사주 진 사마토네 디핀제디 할레니 야라마 미자바 사투면도 가 다치 세만나처럼 세만난게 카제디가 카제디 사니네 다 미기 담바 사마도 차도세 다치 직 수보디 다 야후용사 말했으니 할레니 데니 록도네 이니 가리 작체 담바 때 망도 콜네 계속성도 알아 다치 담바 쳐도 제 되는 맞지 수수부하게 말했어 작체 망고 깨르중 손도 하더라
So then after around 4 months, one of his relative came to see him. That his relative must have heard from other people that Lama Naljorpa is staying in practice at Tsopema. So his relative came to see him with some tukpa, with some tsampa tukpa or tsampa porridge. Then, but Lama Naljorpa was not able to eat that tsampa tukpa because his body was so used to eating so little, and he was used to eating just nettles and fern. His body could not take that tsampa tukpa. Then his relative was so surprised and shocked and said, like, how come, like, you cannot eat this tsampa tukpa? Like, how come a human being cannot eat tsampa tukpa? So his relative became so concerned looking at his health. So his relative went back and brought a load of tsampa and then kept with Lama Naljorpa. And he told Lama Naljorpa to eat tsampa every day and keep himself healthy.
Dini di jela dini chikishe ni giti sungiche gangsam jine jagar gi mite soge hale da pe masi dang sadu kongi konang gi kela sadu sigere ba pe sadu ya pochi to ani beba de soge da tela samnang gi da duba jabgen ji shuk lodik samne sorne dini ke jinda jigire nge jinda jigire koi jigire sine yang mi chasangi dini saya 통야 kune dini 인gur 망고 종세 dini konla Samba Mangpo Pigin, and Mangpo Jungdo.
Then the word starts getting out in the local region. Yeah. Word starts to go out, spread in the local region that there's a yogi or a sadhu. In Indian terms, they call sadhu. There's a yogi, a sadhu who is up in the mountain practicing. So both Indians and Tibetans, they start coming to see Lama Naljorpa, and then they would tell him like they will be the sponsor, they will bring these and that. So after that, Lama Naljorpa seemed to have no problem getting rations.
Dini de da duyun dawa nga zam redo di kong nyen kur mangu radwa, pigin mangu jungdwa, deto chatang para dudu rubruk jene dini chokshu pili. Choje duyun se da choche tang jene ka chokpi jabare kong chokpi jane dini chatang chokpi jane dini kona lame kunala da lama di dengere da dokden sonam chelek. 풀때 라면 샵사 송we 신도 때 라면 빼 투기에서 다 취해서 있는데 까와지 고래서 나게 좀 매래 같이 제도스 룹신til로 배 같이 까와지 제도스 나로 배 같이 제도스 나로 또 까와지나 레딥 차상 다도네 되니 셈 젠버통 로바 톱도 그래서 된데 라마데 투 개복이 되니 땅바래서
Then after some time, people started bringing so many food and becoming sponsors for Lama Naljorpa. So he had lots of offerings. Oh, and what he did was he gathered all the offerings he got from these people, and he did a peace offering. He did a tok offering using all the things, all the food that he gathered. Then after this feast offering, then he left that place and he went to see his root teacher, Togden Sonam Cholek. Then upon meeting Togden Sonam Cholek, his teacher was very impressed at him. And his teacher said, I'm very happy looking at how you practice, like how diligent you were in your practice. And he said, the great masters in the past, such as Naropa Milarepa, they all also went through so much hardship to practice Dharma, and then at the end, they all were able to see the nakedness of their mind and realize the nature of the mind. So his teacher was quite impressed at him.
다 되니 지기 까와지 되비기 예미 지라 양 샤 정작 숨다 정작 숨는 이슈 잡지리도 샹문 이슈 잡지 링라 콩라 홍체 첨부 중니 된 홍체세나 양나 수 메데와 양나 셈 메데와 니남나나 니남 추바 전제부기 축나도 지 중앙 이니 임바 이나양 콩 셈롱 세야디 나모 콩 달라 할수 조절을 쇼도와 디갑로 디니코 탁지도와 셈롱 디갑라 제바 송삼 조조도 차르제와 임바 송삼 지수 롱가티 중나양 코랑라 네버게 좀 송삼 롱기 네버게 이제 자니 레마 송시니 달라 하세시나 바코 공념는 달라마님 나세지 코랑 홍기 지는 지로 홍기 통옹을기 지로 거기 탁자 신도만 통옹네 생기 초도 임바 셈 동바 임바지 코랑 한국 바람 들고 홍기 내비게 오마서 비기 탁자 신도만 주주 홍세쇼데 홍기 코랑 같이 담아지야 맞고 홍세쇼 벌써 오는 거지 통 남리켜라 맞죠
Then he one day he was still staying in a practice or he was staying in a retreat for 21 days, and that time he had these upheavals of body and mind, upheavals or obstacles, and his body felt uncomfortable, his mind felt uncomfortable, he had weird, very bad dreams and so on. But such kind of upheavals did not affect him. He did experience them, but it did not. But these upheavals did not really cause any great harm to his practice. That's because when he was at Dalhousie in India, he was at a charnel ground, and at that time, he also experienced it, such kind of or obstacles and upheaval. But that time he was able to ascertain that such upheavals are simply the display of mind. So he was able to gain some realization and ascertain or fix these upheavals. So that's why next time when he experienced these upheavals, it did not affect him. They just went away.
뭐야 디니 자 냠당 똑바양 디니 송디 냠당 똑바지서 켜버려 봐 니뭐 나와도 테모 밀람 나와이 하장 켜버려 봐 다코 지요리 밀람 인버 케메나 곰볼롱도 주로 있어 다 곰롱도 주르시디 밀람당 생기 밀람당 닝이 나와이 직차네 덴디 더부기 차시 직공라네 냠당 똑바 덴디기 하고 송세 송배 차시 중화 속기 천세 디시나 디니 가샤망보레 당이 라기멘 이내야 덴디 더부나래 냠도 계송세베도 주리 당나랑 있는 나랑 저희는 이랑 가가랑래 니모 가가를 차긴도와 그거 냠네 제 강삼진이 니남당 니방이 또 이니 켜버면 봐 차트 비오사리 덴디 삽잘라 알지 랩송세 덴디 송도와
Then he shares that he also had this experience and realization where daytime and nighttime became inseparable. For us right now, dream is something else. Sleeping night is something else. Daytime is something else. So, but for Lama Naljorpa, he shares, for him this dream, day and night became one, which means it's like on the another level of realization.
아야 양디니 나모리도 디 나모 초배마라 롱아모기나라 초배마 슈디 양 샤든 링라디니 리부 니마레라 리부레리 최네 규련제도와 규련제배서 가tum 나속 제국 제장세 제바 망보유장 이소라 직소세 니 가족가와 제사 차상 리나데 이게 망보레스 다 이게 냠체닝이 시라 시기메 이네 도르뒤지 시나 딘레스 당나 초배마 링골라 샤든 리부규린 제베기 가tum 첨보레 이네 디 남자 공이 제나를 지메스도 지소라 직소스는 다 지메베로데
He writes again that when he was in Thopema in India, for 7 days he was relying on 1 pill a day. So that 1 pill was chulen, this essence extraction. So he was surviving on 1 pill a day, and such were the hardships that he endured. So he writes here, like, I had this kind of experiences, these practices, but I'm not going to write in detail.
양 나모 콩 달라 호시 튜툴레 곰 갸비 갑라 양 눅지기 니람나나 제주 밀라야 임바 똑데야 임바 니람나나 삼삼제나 통해 두가 나랑 소다 시기래 삼삼 미니 임바 지기야 임바 코야 임바 코야 임바 제니 소라 지그라에 통해지 누가 된다래도가 이제 삼삼로 밀라 인생에 직접봐 양 밀라 인생나 똑데야 인대봐 콩이 채 맞춰봐 이와 채 맞춰봐 되니 밀라양 임바 똑데야 임바 젠디 라마치기 젠디 라마네 좀 코너를 쟁기青年을 쓰는 젠 속에 흙이 막 색지네青年 기색이 되니 고량처다 셴네 고량이야 뭐 이제 송송 당년보 된다데 딱고 사숨난디니 퇴만용하지 레도 삼 오예 디니 양공 다 똑딘 도지 참기 군들에 디니 공이 남들의 미도와 미남기 죽대라 죽피에 돈을 패겨서 니마들이스는 니말라레 도미기 갑라디니 죽 라메 군들의 파 팹네 다 샤세 손에 심고다 레베세스 라메기 심강기 볼라 렙제디니 균도 라마 고송서 메데세 라마 똑댕이 고르타네 숨 말했습니다 균도 있는 공 고르타네 숨 말했어 디 라마 페빙 이모 콩콘돌라 페빙 이모 디니 라마디 윤당 메다와 고르치나는 도시 윤도 라마 구르소 송소 메디에지 딩인 심강 나니 구리양 톨로로 두가 할레데 나르지 다 들이 이나 라마 고르나메기 뒤초치다 카드 겹송 삼 코너 할레네 나도 친 제주디니 나라 트러블로 망보지기 끼라 티네 라마 슉제네 트러블로 가시기 부수 셴바 시드라스 다당도 사차 공막이 다 셴바 시드라스 지와레 식시요레 디 셴바 시드라다 원용 코르기 식데서 구르나로 수기도 오세
So he went to share this dream with his teacher and see what he thinks. So he went to see Dr. Sonam Cholik, Lord Vajradhara. So when he went to see his teacher to clarify his dreams, it was a hot, sunny day. And while he was approaching Dr. Sonam Cholik's hut, from the door, he could hear Dr. Sonam Cholik singing a spiritual song. Usually, Dr. Sonam Cholik never sings spiritual songs, or at least Lama Naljorpa has not heard of him singing one before. But that day, he heard Dr. Sonam Cholik singing from his room. So Lama Naljorpa went inside and opened the door of Dr. Sonam Cholik's room, and he saw his master with few monks, and he was singing a spiritual song, and the words were the teachings on the freedom from 4 attachments of Sakya, and on the single taste or one taste teachings.
데니 코난데 도된 군들 레바당 도된기 데니 코난 양텐데 삼샤송시 삼쇼네 데니 최장 용발에 대해서 소문도시
So when Dr. Sonam Cholik saw Lama Naljorpa entering the room, he immediately stopped singing and he said, "Oh, you also came here today."
데니 나 데링 라마 군들라 니람 드라메다 망고 통송디 juk 피에 전달 영화 인세 휴인살 데니 렘바 켜라요 최라 까바 상보치 도가 송송 다디니 렘바 켜장 까바 중세 된도 켜라 까바 때지 도 ni lo ni shu tsabji ge lo la tu jamyang ta kha khon ge la ma le to dun ni lam lu mi shi yin bo shu ba le se khong ge gang su se na chue la ka ba byo re chue di ka ba byo re se chorang gi mi su lem na chorang do la jung se la long don yo se la mi ge ka yo re se de song sam da di kap su di kap su di ki chilung shu na da bar ngamo 코랑기 준네를 치료 휘니 다대 버도 니 빼자 다만 용세 롱전송 요아래 이네 니 빼자 다만 용세 삼로 땅만 용세 이나양 드링에 너 삼이야 땅만 용세 다 ngamo 다이 버도 다 로망고 또 차바레세 마랑기 로 다다 있는 tunju 동송 레세 싱로 싱도 다와 죽집에 제 주숨라 되니 당노 되니 채모 와살 기능 차지기다 나라 되니 마몰라미게 롱텐나와 당테토 차장나랑 셈나라 이르바 나시 세송세 로라 서중송세 대송삼 나 라메이 뒤 남직테 초랑라 까밥 요래 퀸 군들로 미수 용나양 초랑이 뒤 롱낭쇼스 된 송마디 최디 짐바 송삼 드링이 뒤 람루 이식이 고시 뒤뒤 첼lep송 가스 초랑라티니 롱티 까밥 요사레 띵이 다티니 결혼을야 다 직하시지 나모기 로마제처럼 낭차송 이네요 양정이 고니 된게 있으니 양고促进고 람르이 신인 보통 어디서 거래만 셴바셰다 셴바셰다 직대 양 구르나로 송제네 코나로 메시지 된다.
So Lama Naljorpa said to Dr. Sonam Cholek that I came here to share my dreams with you and check it with you. Then Dr. Sonam Cholek replied, "Oh, you foolish person, you foolish person. It seems like even a foolish person like you has a little bit of fortune, because today I was going to give Lamrimi Shenyingpo oral transmission to whoever comes and sees me, whoever is present in front of me, because I received this prophecy from Ju Jamyang Drakpa, Du Jamyang Drakpa many years ago, that that when the time comes, I should give the oral transmission of Yeshe Lamrim Yeshe Nyingpo to whoever is present in front of me. And I personally received this from Du Jamyang Drakpa himself. So after Du Jamyang Drakpa made this prophecy, I forgot about it for many years. But today, at the age of 73, all of a sudden, I remembered what my teacher said, and then I have decided that time is right, and I was gonna give this oral transmission to whoever is present in front of me. So it seems like you, referring to Lama Naljorpa, you foolish person also seems to have a little bit of fortune. So then, having said that, Dr. Sonam Cholek started giving this oral transmission of Lamrim Yeshe Nyingpo, along with freedom from for attachment to Lama Naljorpa and rest of the students there, in a form of Doha or in a form of spiritual song.
Teni kongi gorchi yang tende songdu tini pyo ha gosong se songdu se ha gosong se shudu gande gosong se yang diwa na song se ne dende chine ta lame song chik de redu se de gosong se de godu ya godu ina yang chik chi gong godu se ni yang zoldu gong zol songdu song ne lar yang jar tengma chi song se o de ni ju re da jina bien re da se de ne song se.
Then, after Dr. Sonam Cholek gave this Doha to the students, he asked Lama Naljorpa if he was clear. Then Lama Naljorpa replied the words of what he understood. Then Dr. Sonam Cholek said, "Well, you almost got everything, but it seems like you kind of it's a little bit disorganized." So then Dr. Sonam Cholek again sang the Doha and clarified Lama Naljorpa about the proper order. So then Dr. Sonam Cholek said, "You have to understand it very carefully and properly, because this is a close lineage and has huge blessing."
다 된디 송삼 다 데터 다기 좁탈라 초리 메바당 세니 알라만님 조바 코나게 있나지니 좁타 술라이네야 초리 제마용아 다티 제 딜낭라 셴바 메바스 다체 디 나와라 시라 셴바 메바 디 나랑기 연전데 디디 나랑기 연전레 삼네 코랑게 된디 두시야 송세 디 코랑기 뽕다야 된 가신 제도와 뽕다 랑킴니 뽕다 나모 예 파유니 페비 뽕다 정마지 제도 저는 곰바니 뽕다 정마지 제도 사제자 상도 뽕다 정마지 제도 라마 동된 추구 도르지 창기 꾸준히 구송도끼 맨데 푸이니 뽕다 사랑이 제도 코랑기 뽕다 코랑기 구체질라 뽕다 최진 사랑나 잠 제바디 되는 코랑라 로일 하마메바 당ngay 제망ngay 제마 투마송 삼성게 로라 짜니메 바 코랑기 단자 전부 두송 오삼니 디디 코랑기 남다레 예수도 코랑기 디니 가레 로라 메바치 코랑기 요레세 디 남타 루포 샤망기 수친지 공같이 칙삭수 메바시라서 다시니 Ponda zena sho. Majarang chala kambo ula dribo ngai, ula dorji ngai, ula mok ngai, ula pon ngai, ula pen ngai, chim ngai, sa ngai, motor ngai, nambu ngai zena ni. Ta ponda maja pido, pura takzin japi. Takzin pong pido. Ula chala kambo takzin zani maja pi. Ta kowi, konjo ki pi, maga jin, shati ti, tsamme jati ti ko, chiga me bija dukto ma ule ponda. Mangshi ki ti ponda di me shito. Ponda tsanga tangde ma.
So Lama Naljorpa was somebody who gave up complete attachment to this world. And he also gave up all his possessions formally for 5 times. He gave up all his possessions once when he was escaping from Tibet. Yeah. Then once he gave up all his possessions in a monastery in Tibet. Then once he gave up all his possessions in Asakya monastery. Then once and 2 times he gave up all his possessions in front of his root teacher Togdem Sonam Cholik by offering all his possessions to his teacher as a mandala offering. Then he writes here that now he has no regret at all. He has no attachment to anything, and whatever happens to him, there's no regret. Yeah, so giving up all his possessions, meaning that he would give some to those who are needy as a generosity practice, and then sometimes he would offer it to his great masters as a mandala offering. So yeah, so this is the end of Lama Naljorpa's autobiography.
Oh yeah, ini ta Lama Naljorpa Rinpoche ki tini kwangi ta shuwa poji tini ngawang dorje, Lama ngawang dorje, sunga poji ta Lama Naljorpa korangi shiasung. Ini ngamo 이게 다른 처리 뒤잡아 맞아 남자 된다고 조직 전에 써요 말이. ini ta nani lokhashi te lokhanam ti tuk sa ti junta ingere ini tuku sangare bochi phaya te bu yang lu shu ti phajola alphinla kongi tini yoloko pe anyata sangna na shu ti tini nga ke dang song tukne ta chu yong ro jes te bala ngam tu tupjin chi ya chogi yu ta tinyam du lama pejaling ba ta lama nenjo ba kong ni ki namta ti tini ngam tu ya bu so go sa res tene 두타식 양태네 양 남은 거는 공패버리 나 용벌 나니 제제네 줍진 되네 팔체 더 말랑기링라스 페나 대버 되니 니 겐지 콜버래 남은 거는 겐지 콜버래 제 캠보남 자래 되니 이게 되는 파트킨디 되니 까남이네 좀 맞춰 두고 상하는 거지 그런데 되니 남들 나라 마상와 되니 카톨교 있는 지야지 겐디니 콜버래 yang namta nangla yang jig medik taptok jeni yang go moro taya di kendi nama ngawang doji kebari. Ani namta chatang jig ne gorim jig ne sogindi kempo namchare. O de songsam data di namta di pe ani Pharping yulokobe ani o diri. Yulokobe gombala juri nangmare esi. Dene songde nganto namta di yang 아리라 바 인진당라양 deputik다 줄여와래 차탕 줄여 말이 가시 다다 줄비 값에 되니 다당이 아래 토레지 제 차상랑 다호랑데 당예양 시에토기 말이 라면 남도 망보래 만 삼삼 라면염도 대교래 삼삼 베이징 거염도 도교래 되니 옛나양 당이 시에토지 박수 차상 엔터링이 쉬살바레스
So Lama Naljorpa wrote down his autobiography in a diary, in a very informal and in a rough manner. Then later, only it was compiled and edited and made it proper, like the one that Lama is using. So this compilation and edition of the biography was initiated by Drupön Lama Rinpoche. So some years ago, Drupön Lama Rinpoche invited me and retreatant Thampang Ngawang Doje from East Bhutan to join them here in Nepal because Drupön Lama Rinpoche wanted to publish the autobiographies of both Pege Lingpa and Lama Naljorpa. So Pege Lingpa's is already published. Lama Naljorpa's is roughly translated, but not formally published. So during this compilation, me and retreatant Thampang Ngawang Doje, we were given a responsibility to take, and my responsibility was to go through the autobiography, and find out if there are any conflicting ideas that I did not agree, or which I thought did not happen. So my responsibility was to check for such errors, and then Thampang Ngawang had his own different responsibility. So the final compilation and final edition was done by Khenpo Namchak, and it was done actually here at Pharping. There's a nunnery at Pharping of Drupön Lama Rinpoche called Ulokepa. So it was finalized there in that nunnery. And that's all.
Ulani lama nyumbola se malamyo. Di ngigi ngarangi lama teni shubate so ta ngarang lujure. Lama da jani nyamdo lasiko se jamna yagbu yomade. Lama namda ti tini jinapchen reba. Di nangla ngarangi lujure tuk shana yang dashak yomade. Di yinju lama ki kanang song. Lama yelong ki kanang song ngarangi nyamnyong tabo. Di shero tingi misir jini shikere. Ngarangi lama kunyula jese ringang. 냠랭 간데 제송 냠랭 간데 휴송 나랑게 간데 제투바지 가시 제마투바 요래 가시 제투바에 가시 요래 그래서 믹스해진 제만만서 양쪽 최신다시나
아니 사님 남아기 장기
로주 랍초들이
랑기
야 되게 디티
소소량 요나만다 페일라리 초창이야.
다
페일로마 소소당한테 아주잖아.
다지 로주래 다 로주 시에 총그래 저랑 년도요나 다 야 대람매기 있는 데링 사서 이나 라미 남단나라가 로주라스 것이 잠매도 근데 제 요말에 라미 진나 라마리 봐 코난기 되니 진압첨부기 로주나랑 안서 팔바기 로주라스 것이 잠나 되니 어만나라 되니 총말로바 삼말로바 나스코스 도나지 도그래 라마 상마체고 나랑기 잘라출레지 되니 냠버디 가요 말에 이나 나랑기 메제스네 로카시카시라 마년도 대용 휴용 더 텐스칭이 잡고 템바 나랑기 텐스치 되니 라마 코는 게 까나서 라마 이런 게 까나서
말한다 니라
야, 라마 되니 데링 라마네 이제 남들 롭선기 사분 잠지 사송아.
被年不穷说可真些了，被年不多。
알았어. 차상 내게 den게 면도라 되니 카시 리유길에 텔라 바자사토 홍슈기.
이나 사님 랑기 로주기 거랑 순기레스 다나 안서 맨들 칙푸르 연치 메도 남레라 미스 데제 바데 산제 신도 메테 신나 쳔바 로다 남멘다나 컴베리 아야
알았어. 땡이 이 남자티 되니 냠부티가 요 말에
So
아마 스카와 책임도와 난도 칼라 대점 사고. 저 주제 고반이 나베 버트 얘기래.
그래서 너만 람페기래
Then Jan Church of Lama Chapu,
다 간서 초록만 부요. 대소 냠도 신이 휴고. begin that's what say
So what was happening here is yesterday Konchokla representing Lama Allen and all of the students online, he made a request for Lama to also share his own stories, not only Lama Naljorpa's, but also his own interactions with Lama Naljorpa and share with us. So Lama was saying like, well, I mean, I don't want to share my stories with Lama Naljorpa. Otherwise, it's like mixing something pure with something impure. So Lama Naljorpa was an extraordinary master, so his stories needs to be separate from mine. My stories are simply very ordinary, and it's like so impure. So I don't want to mix it with something pure. So then Lama said, but then Konchok was making a mandala offering for Lama to share his stories tomorrow. So then Lama said, yeah, in that case, sure, he will tomorrow. His interaction, he said how he got the teachings and also some bit instructions that he got from his teacher. And also there are highly realized yogis, just like Drupön Lama himself, who are in Eastern Bhutan, like Sampangong Doje, and there's somebody called Jajalwa. They are all students of Lama Naljorpa, so Lama will also share a bit on their own experience, like how they practiced together and so forth. And then Drupön Lama was talking to Lama Alan Wallace and saying that if I left out or if I forgot any stories of Lama Naljorpa, then please apologize. And I want to make a Vajrasattva mantra. So he just recited Vajrasattva mantra if he made any errors. So yeah, that was what happened.
이니 라마 공방 못 살친 많고 요래 대속이 남자의 난속에 약고진이 휘마도 팔방 아랑다 붙이기 뒤에 로지 라고나 이니 다양 뭐 사부의 용사래 이네 우뚝겸네 있다 쉬는 말도 공기 뒤에 다 끌어져서.
So it's a little bit shameful not being able to fully explain or express the story of such great masters such as Lama Naljorpa, like forgetting some incidences. Then also it's also shameful that I have to share my own story, like just me, like who's an ordinary person, you know. But in any case, since Konchokla is really requesting me, I have to force myself and share the story. And he also said, Lama Naljorpa was such a great master. Like he slept very little, he ate very little, he hardships. But in my case, like I had to eat this much, I had to sleep whole night. So like there's a
Oh yeah, 이니 투지 제라.
So I want to thank Kunjula for making the request. Kunjula, Kadinchila, thank you. Thank you so much.
That's all.
Now,
Also,
Kunjula to teach you. Korangi Kalan, Tene,
listen.
Ene, Drupön Lama Karma Jnana, Mazulun, Logi Sugurwa, to Chichela.
That's all. Now we want to show the group here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't get it. Tashidele, Samala. Greetings to all of you. So glad you're
Consult.
Tashidele.
Tashidele, Samala, Tashidele. De Basadua. Yeah. Oh,
Lama Basa.
Lama Basa. Koran Kwan in the Litana Comchere.
Very
Oh, yeah.
meditative.
이 공나리라 ngakshirila kong lama.
Oh,
There's a vow of silence. He's taking a vow of silence right now, so he cannot say
good.
much.
Oh, Nanda Yomari. I've taken a vow of talking a lot. Get your mumble in. Get into it.
Yes, so we'll see you tomorrow to continue the
Wonderful.
stories.
Thank you.
Thank you.
感谢了。
That's all.
三年节了。
That's all. And at 2 p.m. again, we'll have shamatha teachings for those who are awake also. So now, tam je si pa ji tam de ye pe prana pam se ji ke ga na ji pa
那几把龙珠把一些被所来的完之后，水
shu ko nga ko da ye she ro pa chan le.
Na jor chenpe nyamne na chuke tiro ji om bandar sato samaya mano sato te no ba te ta te do me ba do kiyam me ba kiyam me ba sarva karma sutta shiyam koro tada gada bada ma tamaya